Hey, I don't know, Shawn, if you had a chance to listen in to a lot of Dane's presentation. He mentioned the work that Shaw has been doing on the luxury vinyl tile and plank, and we're going to touch on that a little bit today. But
Yep.
So what entered my mind as Dane was talking is that most of our customers, when you bring up LVP or LVT, they have a tendency to go, well, there's no money to be made there. People just use a Swiffer vac on that, or a steam mop or something like that. But as Dane mentioned in his presentation, what Shaw is finding out is that the grooves in a lot of this flooring are holding on, particularly to oil-based soils and real small particulate soiling. So I know you're going to share some information about that. There you go. There's the grooves. It's groovy, baby.
Groovy.
Trying to get that texture is a big thing. So we're going to talk about that even more today and give them some other things to consider. So Shawn, you ready to rock?
I heard a secret. You blow on your coffee cup and they think it's coffee.
That's right. Exactly. Did you feed Mario during the break, or is he starving to death?
No, Mario actually took a run and he fed me. He's an awesome helper. He's a great assistant.
I guess so.
Well, thanks, Doyle. I'm excited to share with you guys some of the studies that I've been able to be part of too, because like Dane, I had a chance to work with Shaw Floors, the largest flooring manufacturer, carpet manufacturer in the world, not just on their carpet yarns and some of the new developments that they've done on their high definition polyesters, their Bellero line, but also their largest growing subset of their market, even though carpet is still growing, is luxury tile, luxury vinyl plank and luxury vinyl tile systems. And the difference, I guess, LVT is whether or not you're a plank or a tile. But pretty much they're just describing this thing that you're dealing with. And what is this thing? Because we had Scott talk to us earlier about wood and all sorts of different layered wood and core products where you have real wood and different wear layers and those issues that we deal with. But this product has been made to emulate wood, but it's vinyl. And it's layered, just like the layers that we see in some of these flooring that snap together often, like this guy is a snap together system, like a lot of the luxury vinyl planking does, it tends to snap in. But the luxury vinyl product are simply layers of a core. They have a layer of a print film, which is just a color printer essentially, that creates the look of this material. And then they have a layer on top of that of a finished layer of protective film, polyethylene, different materials, plastics and flexible materials of clear. And depending on that wear layer, whether it's a residential design product or a commercial design product or a residential product being used in a commercial environment, will change that wear layer and that mill thickness, anywhere from maybe 10 up to 30 mil materials that they are 5 mil, 10 mil, whatever they're going to put into them. So they'll have different ratings of the thickness of these materials. And Doyle mentioned the grooves. Well, people say that there's no business in this, but they also don't realize how lazy the human population is. People don't really clean. Demonstrate how clean you can get it professionally. Demonstrate what you can use, some equipment and some counter-rotating brush systems like the CRB that Dane brought in. I'm going to show you a different one as well that has that lifting action, controlling the moisture, which is a big deal. A lot of these products are sold as waterproof, or let's be careful, it's spill-proof and water resistant. All right, between them. That doesn't mean if they water damage underneath, you can leave it there. You definitely, Mario, could you adjust the volume on that computer? Definitely need to be careful not to allow water flooding situations. The floor is going to have to come up and deal with it. The waterproof maybe against a spill or a cup of coffee or an animal accident on top of it. But again, we've got these groove layers that hold on to a lot of soil. One of the most common problems that we see in the new building industry, multifamily, new building markets where they're using an absolute ton of this product in public spaces as well as occupied units, is drywall compound. It's actually their biggest challenge, and the biggest thing that we see is inappropriate, improper cleanup of the initial soiling that's getting onto this from drywall or construction work. Then cleaners that tend to go in there and spray it down with Fabuloso and everything else and essentially take that drywall compound and make it into concrete. And they essentially make a solid stuck into the grooves and even into the plank space or the actual attachment area where they attach together. And it's really difficult to get out. Some so difficult that they've been responsible for replacing it because of inappropriate techniques of cleaning. So a big step for us to know about is deep cleaning, good brush action to lift that soil out on the dry side first. Let's go back to my early presentation. First step of cleaning, get rid of the dry soil, gross contamination removal. Get rid of everything you can physically with sweeping, brushing. And then what we're going to show you an example of is using a vacuum with high efficiency filtration and a brush attached to it without the mechanical on the first step. And that's the first challenge that we have in that dry step. So let's get on to the hands-on. We've got Mario. You can only see Mario's pink booties at the moment. Let me bring the camera up for him. Oh, he's dancing for you. Mario's doing a little jig. And we've got a few little setups here. Now, what we have on the floor here, here's Mario. Say, hey, Mario. Yeah, what we've got going on here is a couple different systems. And we actually have a very improperly installed section of this planking that's here. And they're just loosely laid. Typically, this product, which is not snapped together, is just going to be glued or adhered directly to the substrate. For our demonstration area, we've simply just laid it in place. So we're going to be a little gentle and show you the process as you go through. We also have a CRB like Dane talked about, which can be used for dry compound, low moisture cleaning very appropriately. We've got a machine out of Italy called from Floor Wash. If you look up floorwash.com, that unit is a great little dual cylindrical for low moisture controlled cleaning. And then as was mentioned earlier, the Dirt Dragon, which we've got there as an example just to show you how the size difference compares on these. So step number one was, as I said, dry soil removal. So Mario, let's go ahead and step in. We've got some building debris. We've got some joint compound. We've got soiling. We need to take our time. The tool he's using has a brush head on the bottom of it. It actually is going into the grooves to pick up a lot of that, deeper ground in stuff. So, from the top down, and then we're going to work from the bottom up with cleaning solution. Top down so we don't grind things in. We're not brushing it into the floor. We're lifting it off the floor in this initial vacuuming process. So it's just too assumed. You're assuming the customer's doing it right. All they're using is a Swiffer, sweeper, scrub, residue kind of chemistry all over top of their floors. We have appropriate techniques, professional activities, booties, gloves, professional attire, professional vacuums, and the processes that we use to properly demonstrate, with our customers. Don't be afraid to demonstrate how much cleaner you can get their floor that they just haven't been able to get it back to it. Now, one important thing is to make sure whatever cleaner you're using when you get to that point has no kind of finish or shine on it. This product is not designed to have finishes or recoatings on top of it. The coating of the layer is permanently there. Once you start putting coatings on this product, you're going to have to start maintaining those coatings. So hopefully they don't get scratched and you don't go past that wear layer of that initial film or mill layer of plastic into the print layers of these materials. So dry vacuuming first obviously needs to be accomplished. If that first layer needs to go a little deeper, then go a little deeper. Better's possible than good isn't enough. Get in there with a brush, sweep out the grooves, the lines, the imperfections in the flooring where maybe it didn't set just right. So you get that particulate out first. It's always easy to remove dry soil dry. Anything you can get out from there. So sweep it out. Get rid of those particulates with as many systems you can. Now, once we've got that accomplished, once we've got that accomplished and we've done our dry vacuuming and sweeping step, then we can go to a dry mopping step. That physical brush to maybe get a little deeper groove. We can use different styles of flat mops in our processes that have more texture to get into the texture of these floors. I love what Dane said. We're cleaning with flat tools on non-flat surfaces. Just a great analogy of we need something a little rougher to be able to pick up and not necessarily our finish applicator mops or our cleaning heads that we have on there. So a dry sweep over top of that to again go after that particulate that's just going to make into mud or problematic with a figure 8, working away from the area and capturing those areas off into your towel or area workstation that you're going to step off from that work area so you have a good transition point. All right, so we've done our dry vacuum, our particulate removal. Next step that we need to do is go ahead and wet clean this particular floor. And we're gonna do that today using the floor wash system. This one's I actually went to Bergamo, Italy not last year, but the year before, and saw this machine at their factory, Floor Wash. .com is their website. They're sold in Namco, and the unit has a dual cylindrical brush on the bottom. So it's got two brushes, counter rotating. It has a really neat little low moisture pickup reservoir on the inside of the unit where it picks up the water off from this wheel just by squeegeeing it off from the center drum. Really quite simple. The first thing we want to do, if we have a heavily soiled flooring, we want to go after is work that's the cleaning solution in if we're choosing to use one. Today, we're going to use the brand new, newly released HydraMaster Hydra Fresh Luxury Vinyl Cleaner, LVC. Phenomenal results so far, streak-free cleaning, great for a pre-scrub, great for a low residue, just rinse through an auto machine or a walk behind system. If you're doing big auto scrubbing, you can add a little additive in there to condition your water and give you a beautiful clean. This one has been very particularly designed and going after those soils that build up in the residential and commercial markets into these grooves. And we've got our luxury vinyl cleaner that we've mixed up into a spray bottle, and we're just going to pre-apply it. This tank on this machine, I just have water in it, and there's a reason. I use this as my rinsing reservoir. So we pre-apply the product to the floor, and not too heavily because we don't want it to go through grooves or get down below it. Once we've got the the product applied, then we will take our unit and scrub it in. This is scrubbing mode. I've got the receiving head, and you try to work with the grooves, get that brush line in where your agitation direction is in proper technique. And while I'm running it right now, I've got the tray up. And the reason I've got the tray up is so it actually scrubs and works the cleaner in without recovering it right away. Then I'll put the tray down to its rinsing state. And this is just low moisture. This got no pump. All we do is pull the trigger on this little handle. It lets the clean water out, and it can have a little bit of the LV cleaner in there as well. I happen to have just water at the moment to do a fresh water rinse. And then you can go back over it and let water go down. And we'll do a rinsing step and then run the tool dry over the top of the space. Pretty simple, straightforward. They sell these in narrow and wide machines, just like the CRBs. These machines can be used damp, same thing, counter-rotating brush system, or you can run them with dry compound, which makes it a bit more versatile of an option. And obviously, I've used it as a pre-scrubber for carpet. We can use it for tile, grout, stairs, luxury vinyl scrubbing. Great added tool for what the CRBs can do for us, that counter-rotating brush system. And this one can even be used for heavy debris removal by attaching the side trays so that it can actually sweep those side trays off as you're using it as your power scrubbing tool. Now, the final step typically in dealing with the final work over top of a flooring system like this is that we will typically go back one final work across to give a nice polishing detail with our final mopping, or this is just a polishing mop essentially. And we'll dampen it out with a little bit of the cleaner to keep a nice streak-free system. And we'll work that as we work our way out of the building and out of the room or out of the elevator or out of the whatever space, the little bathroom, the little area of transition that we need to pull that out and work our way out. Let it dry completely. Make sure nobody tracks it while it's damp for slip and fall hazards and all that stuff. Put your signs up. And then it'll dry out, nice streak-free finish.